We back at it again. It's the PCL Sweet 16. Y'all better put on y'all seatbelts because we about to go on a wild ride. Today we got some good matchups. As you know, we got Big Ox and ZZ kicking things off. We got Dion from Ohio versus John D. And then we got Penn versus Logan, the last matchup of the day. But I promise you guys, I won't do too much yapping. I won't waste your time. We're going to get these fellas up here right here and now to get things going. What's good, ZZ? How you feeling?
What's good, y'all? Finally, I have a chance to, show my skills. So let's see how this goes.
Okay.
How y'all feeling?
Man, I'm all right. I'm all right. Mr. Ox,
My man, my man.
What up? What up?
any
What's good,
words?
dog?
Anything you would like to say?
Yeah, I mean, one of us are supposed to be here. So
And one of you guys is supposed to advance, so we'll just have to see who it is. But let's go ahead and get into it. Yo, Cheerio, cue up that first topic so we can make this happen. The first topic of the day is who is the best player from the 2021 draft? Big Ox, you are going to kick things off. Fellas, y'all know the drill. We're going to do 2 rounds. The first two rounds are going to be 1:30, and the last round is going to be 3 minutes. Let's get into it. Ox, your time will start whenever you do.
okay, cool. So this round, I'm gonna start off talking about Evan Mobley because I believe Evan Mobley is an obvious pick, obvious choice. He came into the NBA ready to go. He came into the NBA as a man, averaging 15 and 8. I believe he was second rookie of the year that year. Since then, he's done nothing but sustain that and it just got better. Even this year, I believe he's averaging 18 points, 9 boards. With that, he's coming with 3 assists also. He's shooting 37% from 3 range, so he can stretch the floor, spread it out. Also, pretty decent free throw shooter, 73%. He's everything you want for a young big man. You know what I mean? Scoring wise, I don't know if he has the ability to carry the offensive load. I think he's more better off as like a second scoring option, third scoring option, but still very, very, very impactful on the offensive end. He doesn't need a lot of attention. He doesn't need a lot of touches. He doesn't need the ball in his hand to be impactful. He's pretty efficient. But that's just that, because with Evan Mobley, he's going to stand on defense. He's going to stand on defense, and we'll get into a little bit more of that in the second round. And let's also talk about the fact that he has a very high basketball IQ. Yeah, that's it.
There you have it. ZZ, it's on you. Round 1. Let's do it.
So you could go in a multitude of different ways on this one. You could go Evan Mobley if you like elite defense. You could go Jalen Green if you like AAU hoops. You can go Scotty Barnes if you like a guy that could be a developed and polished 3-and-D guy in about 5 years. But for me, I decided to go with the number 1 pick in the NBA draft. This is a guy in Cade Cunningham who averaged 17, 6, and 6 his rookie year and had the worst record in basketball. In his second year, he only played 12 games, so there isn't a lot that you can really go off of right there. But in that time, the Pistons once again were dog shit and ended up with the 5th pick. And then you look at his third year, a year in which everybody remembers the Detroit Pistons posting the longest losing streak in NBA history. But the one guy that you couldn't put too much blame on was their young franchise player in Cade Cunningham, a guy who this year is having career highs across the board. A season last year, like I just talked about, where they finished with 14 wins, 28 straight losses, all the memes in the world. They went 5-15 without Cade, which isn't saying much, which lets you know how bad that team was last year. Then this year, you get a new head coach, 3 new veteran 3-point shooters, and a great catch and shoot option in Malik Beasley, might I add. And you see Cade Cunningham putting up career highs across the board. Not only that, in terms of the biggest in-season or regular season turnaround, this is on par with the 08 Celtics for how big of an impact. They are 8 games above 500, the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons are about to be over 40 wins for the first time since the Blake Griffin era. Good Lord. And all at the helm being led by their franchise big guard in Cade Cunningham.
All right, it's back on you, Big Ox. We got the crown versus the do-rag. Talk to us, Ox.
Man, 12 games in the season. Looks like somebody's just got handed something. But I mean, he played 62 games last year. and they still were terrible. So I think that shows a lot about the lack of impact that Cade has showed in his young career. With that being said, I think like when you go that route, I mean, like Zizi said, he could have went with anybody. He went with Cade Cunningham. I think Cade Cunningham is impactful, but when you have a guy like Evan Mobley who's better on defense, you know what I mean? He can guard big wings. He can move his feet. He's very versatile. He can switch on strings. He can play help defense. He can play pretty much every role you want him to play on the defensive end of the floor. But the thing about that is where he stands on defense, you needed a guy like Cade Cunningham to maybe help distribute and things like that. This is the thing about basketball that we got to understand. When I'm depending on my ability to feed my teammates, I have to then depend on them to score. You know, it's harder for me to make a consistent impact if I'm the one giving the ball away. Evan Mobley, on the other hand, makes a consistent impact on something that he can fully control, and that's the defensive end of the floor. If Cade Cunningham has to make an impact by facilitating, he doesn't have full control over one of his best assets. That's why I believe Evan Mobley is more impactful, not only just that way, but just all around.
Back on you, ZZ, round 2.
Let me just remind y'all real quick. Cade Cunningham is averaging 26 points a game, 6 rebounds, and 9.5 assists, just shy of 10, with the sixth highest usage rate in basketball. He was number 3 last week. He's been out for about, the last week. So obviously it's going to take a little bit of a dip there. But anyway, the biggest point that I want to harp on with the Detroit Pistons is that you brought up great things about Evan Mobley. I get that. We already knew how elite of a defender that he was. The reason that Cade Cunningham was drafted number 1 in his lone year at Oklahoma State, it was a mirror of the same problems that he was going to end up facing in Detroit. He was giving you over 20 a game, shooting 44% from the field and 40% from 3 in college. You fast forward to right now, what he's doing at the age of 23. The numbers I just gave you: 26, 6, and 9 on 46% from the field, 35% from 3, and 86% from the free throw line. Those numbers have only been matched one time by any player in NBA history age 23 or under. You want to know who that was? It wasn't Big Ox. It was Big O. Oscar Robertson. Good Lord. That's the company that he's playing in this year. Not to mention the fact that when we talk about expectations, I expect Evan Mobley to be the biggest defensive impact on his team. I expect all of those things that you said. For Cade Cunningham to go from leading a team that won 14 games last year to, like I said, 3 big offseason moves, not to mention Jaden Ivey going down at the start of this year, and then the Pistons proceeding to win 6 out of their next 7 games. So you look at this Detroit Pistons team last year, bar for bar, they're a completely different team led by the number 1 draft pick who was supposed to make chicken shit into chicken salad. He has.
So
Here we go,
Zizi,
y'all. It's a 3-minute round. Let's do it.
So Zizi, who is who's more impactful in the basketball game? Why is it that Detroit only won that many games when Cade played last year?
Cade did play last year. They had terrible spacing last year for one. The worst spacing that they could possibly. They were the 27th ranked offense last year and the 26th ranked defense. This year,
where's Cade's impact?
What do you mean, where's Cade's impact? He's giving you, like I said, career high numbers across the board, career high efficiency across the board.
Right. We'll stay focused. Yeah.
So there it is. You get the efficiency, not to mention the assists per game. How many players averaging 9.5 assists? Is Evan Mobley one of them, or anybody else in the 2021 draft class?
That's what I knew, and I knew that coming in, Zizi. I knew for a fact because you a ball knower. I knew you were going to go with Cade Cunningham, and that's why I just knew that Evan Mobley's consistent impact on basketball it's a lot more sustainable. It's a lot more sustainable because he doesn't.
How can you say that though? How can you say that though when you look at this season? Like, here's nothing. I knew you were going to try to potentially get into this argument of how impactful are they.
Well, you knew that because you knew that was the right argument. You knew I was going to go that route.
Evan Mobley in the games in which Evan Mobley hasn't played this year, they're 6-3 without him. In the games in which Cade hasn't played this year, they're 5-3 without him. So I'm not going to get into that type of argument with this. From what I'm seeing in terms of impact from not only the best player on the team in the Detroit Pistons, which is Cade Cunningham, but the number 1 pick in the NBA draft.
What does Cade Cunningham do? What does Cade Cunningham do in the game where his shot's not falling? What does Cade Cunningham do in
get other guys the ball?
And that's what I'm asking you. What does he do in the game when I'm kicking the ball to Malik Beasley and he's not hitting his threes? He's not shooting out of his mind. What does Cade Cunningham do then to impact the basketball game? Because I'm answering. I say to you, he's somewhat pedestrian if he's not impacting the game that way. It's inconsistent.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because there's no way you can say that he's a pedestrian when you're getting above average rebounding for your position in the league and above average assists for your position in the league, and you're 23 years old. 23 years old, just like Evan Mobley. But
How old is Evan Mobley?
let me ask you this question, Ox. Let me ask you this question, Ox. So with Evan Mobley and all the phenomenal defense that he brings to the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is great, if Evan Mobley isn't there giving that impact on the interior, they have a guy in Jared Allen that could also do that on the interior. If he's not there giving it on the perimeter, they just acquired DeAndre Hunter and have been absolutely excellent on the perimeter.
Okay, Steve, but see what you tried to do. You decided to combine. You had to combine two people. You decided to combine two people to try to create Evan Mobley.
Ox, tell me who on the Detroit Pistons, and chat, feel free to chime in as well. Tell me who on the Detroit Pistons, if Cade Cunningham is not there, is giving you that 26 a game, that 9.5 assists, that 6 rebounds with that efficiency, leading the squad, I'm not here to run down Detroit's.
I got to mute y'all. It is the end of the 3 minutes. I wish I could let y'all go for longer, but the time is up for this topic. Now we're gonna move on to the next topic. Cheerio, what you got for these brothers? What injury impacted the course of the NBA season the most? ZZ, it is going to be on you first this round. So you talk to us and let us know who you got.
For me, the first person that came to mind was Kyrie Irving and the torn ACL that he suffered for the Dallas Mavericks. When I look at the Dallas Mavericks this year, they had a shaky season all year long in terms of health. The trade for Luka Doncic on February 2nd, when fans woke up, that completely changed the course of the team right there. When you look at what Kyrie Irving was doing with this season or with this team in 50 games, averaging 25, 5, and 5, the only player in the league shooting above 40% and 90% from three this season, I think outside of Steph, if he even is shooting above 40%, he's had a down year. But Kyrie Irving's impact in the 50 games that he played, the team went 28-22. You look at the fact that Anthony Davis in his first game there, the fit was there. You saw exactly what the vision was. But then when you look at Kyrie Irving and what he's done for this team, despite the fact that PJ Washington's been out of action, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, right? Anthony Davis eventually. Kyrie ended up, once Anthony Davis went down, ended up going up to from 36 to 37 minutes all the way up to 38 to 40, which obviously at the age of 33 is not sustainable for a team whose championship window is supposed to be wide open since the Luka Doncic trade for the next 3 or 4 years. Well, we don't know if Kyrie Irving's going to be back next season for this team. What we do know was with the Anthony Davis trade, they looked at Kyrie Irving, a player who's in his player option this year, who's already up for a max deal this year, a player that they looked at and said, here's the keys to the franchise. Since we traded away the franchise, we'll give it to you. That player may not be around for God knows how long until next season. That's a problem. That shook the course of the league right.
All right, Big Ox, your time is starting now.
When this timer goes off, you got to mute his mic. He's getting extra seconds, bro.
Cap.
All right.
You cap it.
I'm ready. Okay. So when we talk about what like the impact of the season, we're forced to speculate on what we expect to happen, right? So this round, I'm going to talk about expectations. Okay. Coming into the season, the preseason odds, the 76ers were supposed to be a top 4 team coming out of the East. They were also supposed to win 50 plus games, right? Right now, where are the 76ers are? 13th seed in the East. They've won 23 games. That's not even half of what they were supposed to win. The 76ers, for all intents and purposes, are terrible. Okay. Joel Embiid's injury is so serious that he couldn't even get healthy enough to make an impact at all this year. I mean, he did play some games. I think he played 19 or 20 games, right? But even with those games, Joel Embiid was unable to really propel his team forward. Even with all the expectations of the year, the 76ers are 8-11, even when Joel Embiid plays. And that's due solely to Joel Embiid's knee. That's due solely to his injury. There's nothing else. That's solely to his injury. If Joel Embiid was healthy, I'm sure the 76ers would be much better. But once again, this argument has to be based on speculation and expectations. The answer is Joel Embiid, and that's the only correct answer.
Back on you, ZZ. Let's
So I'm
go.
actually interested that you went with Joel Embiid. See, I thought about it, but then I said to myself, damn it, what is the Philadelphia 76ers ceiling even when this nigga is healthy? Is it the second round? We talk about expectations, Ox. Kyrie Irving was playing Robin on a team that made it to the NBA Finals last year. Talk about expectations. This team, like I said before, and I mentioned in the trade for Luka Doncic and acquiring Anthony Davis, an aging, injury-prone superstar who, when healthy, is a top 3 defender in basketball, especially at his position, top 3 big men in basketball as position, just like Joel Embiid. The similarities between Kyrie and Joel Embiid are this. Both of these players have never played more than 75 games for their career. The difference between these players is Joel Embiid is younger than Kyrie Irving. So we pretty much know what we're going to get with Joel Embiid. In terms of peak Joel Embiid, if you're looking for peak Joel Embiid, it's going to come in the regular season. Don't get your hopes up. Kyrie Irving and what he was doing since he arrived in Dallas, back-to-back all-star years, he has matured in levels that we thought weren't even possible 4 years ago. And on top of that, the basketball has been as pure as ever. The efficiency has been there just like always. And when I look at this team in terms of expectations and future, like I said, when they made the trade, that dumbass dimwit of a new owner that the Dallas Mavericks had said, oh, well, or the GM, my bad, Nico Harrison, fuck him. Defense wins championships. Okay, now all you have is defense, and you don't have a point guard to distribute shit on that offense for the foreseeable future. Not to mention the fact that Kyrie Irving is 33 years old with bad knees. It ain't gonna work, bro.
Back on you, Ox.
ZZ, did you just say the words foreseeable future? If
Correct,
you did,
Amendo.
thank you. Right on, ZZ. Okay, so let's talk about the foreseeable future. What Joel Embiid's injury impacted this season so bad that we're going to talk about the detriment that this injury had on the franchise as a whole for the foreseeable future, ZZ. The 76ers owe Joel over 200 M's. They also owe Paul George over 200 M's, but they owe Paul George that money because they wanted to partner him with Joel Embiid, right? They pretty much sunk the franchise for the foreseeable future, right? They put all that money into these guys. What did Joel Embiid do? He went to the Olympics. Instead of being ready, instead of getting healthy, instead of preparing for the season, he went to the Olympics to chase a gold medal that would do nothing for the city of Philadelphia and nothing for the franchise. Okay, what happened with Kyrie Irving? That nobody saw that coming. That was an accident, just a part of the game. Joel's injury was premeditated. He knew this was going to happen, right? It was premeditated. So he essentially killed the franchise. In the state of Pennsylvania, premeditated first-degree homicide carries the death penalty or life without the possibility of parole. It's that serious.
We got 3 minutes, y'all. Let's talk about how serious it really is.
Ain't no way it's that serious. Ain't no way it's that serious.
It is that serious. He killed the franchise. He killed the franchise. He killed the franchise because he wanted to chase a gold medal for a country that's not even his. He murdered the franchise with this injury. Not only did it derail the season, but it's also derailing the whole entire franchise. It was premeditated murder.
Okay, Ox, let me ask you this question. You say it derailed the season. My nigga, no trade derailed the season more than Lucas did to Dallas. And then the aftermath of said trade. Listen. The aftermath of said trade, you trade your franchise player away. You tell a 33-year-old Kyrie Irving, hey, look, we got another 33-year-old coming over here, and we can win a championship. No, let me talk. We can win a championship. And then Kyrie Irving's injury, which let me put it like this. Luka Doncic getting traded from the Dallas Mavericks killed the franchise. Kyrie Irving tearing his ACL put the nail in the coffin. Let's be real. Of any championship window for the next 3 years.
If you want to be real, let's be real, ZZ. Let's be real. Since that trade happened a couple months ago, whenever it happened, right? Since that trade happened, what did we hear? Only thing we heard, right? Because mind you, this argument has to be about expectations, right?
It's about expectations.
Okay, so it's about expectations, right, ZZ? Okay, yes. Boom. When they traded Luka Doncic,
did you expect Joel to get hurt again this year? Be honest.
Yeah, well, I'm about to tell you right now because the expectations when they traded Luka Doncic were absolutely shit, ZZ. Everybody's talking about they got nothing for Luka. expectations. They traded him for a broke down superstar Anthony Davis.
That's
He's
not
older.
no. I'm not. Let me rebuttal right there. Let me rebuttal right there. I can't let you do that, Ox. I can't let you do that. I can't let you do that. I can't let you do that, Ox.
Nobody. I was the only one. I was the only one on the internet standing up for Anthony Davis. Everybody else was saying.
That's cool. That's cool. No, that's cool. That's cool. Let me talk. Let me get this off.
The expectation was that this was already done.
So the expectation for so let me give you my expectation. Let me give you my expectation. The expectation for the Philadelphia 76ers, for even a Philly fan, you can ask Meek Mill, did you expect Joel Embiid to get another injury this year that would either cost him an opportunity to go to the postseason and lead this team to the Eastern Conference Finals, something that Trae Young has done over Joel Embiid? Did you expect that to happen? I did. Did you also expect Pandemic P, who was asking to get paid Tobias Harris money, which we know that's crazy, but he still got it for being ass, his expectation to go up against a New York Knicks team that was ranked higher than Philadelphia going into the year, a Cavaliers team that took their team and took their championship core and re-signed them, and a Boston Celtics team that's still shooting the most threes in basketball. In no way, shape, or form is Joel Embiid anywhere in that conversation. This is the same nigga that got an MVP, and they're saying that it was a sympathy MVP.
He has the city in shambles. It's so bad that Paul George
been in shambles since the trust the process era started, Ox. This ain't new. The city ain't as in shambles as the reigning defending Western Conference.
All right, y'all. All right, I gotta step in. That is the end of the 3 minutes. I think you guys both made valid points, and I do think it is bad for both teams and both cities. But we got to move on to the next topic. So let's go ahead and do that. Big Ox, it is going to be on you to kick off this topic. We got more legacy talk. You gotta love it, right, Mars? SGA versus Luka Doncic. Whose legacy is impacted more or is boosted more with a ring and a Finals MVP this year? Let's go ahead and talk, Big Ox.
Okay, let's do that. So for this round, what I'm gonna talk about is why this ring does less for Luka Doncic. I'm gonna stick on Luka Doncic right now. Okay, and unfortunately, with legacy talks comes a lot of narratives, y'all. And that's just the way it is. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. So last round was expectations. This round's going to be a little bit more narrative driven because that's the way it has to be. The thing about it is, if Luka Doncic wins the Finals MVP and gets a ring, there's still a big elephant in the room. You know that elephant room. His name is GOAT James. Okay, LeBron James' fifth ring would tie Kobe Bryant with his fifth ring in a Lakers jersey. The world will be eating that up, not giving too much care to Luka Doncic, right? JJ Redick, first year coach, wins a championship. That's another thing that's going to take attention off of Luka Doncic. The Lakers would also be getting their 18th title, tying them with the Celtics for the most all time. That's another thing that would take the attention off of Luka Doncic, right? Not only that, the Bronsexuals will not let Luka have that. There's going to be, oh, well, Bron should have got it, this and that. There's going to be so much narratives into this that Luka's legacy won't be boosted very much. On top of that, Luka Doncic is already looked at as one of the better players of all time. I don't think he needs much more to credit him. I think people already put him in talks that he's already there.
Let's go, ZZ.
All right, so yeah, I really wasn't with you the whole way, but the last way is where you lost me completely. You just said that Luka Doncic's legacy would not be boosted because of all these other hypotheticals in this hypothetical question that's asking us whose legacy is boosted more with a ring and a Finals MVP. Now, of course, LeBron James is there, but LeBron James, like you said, I believe in an argument, not it wasn't you. I think it was between Hayes. It wasn't you, Ox. LeBron is a second option. I heard that yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. So let's take that hypothetical route. Luka Doncic alone in his career is ranked second all time in career playoff points per game. Luka Doncic, we're talking about SGA and Jokic this year. Who should win MVP? The dude that's leading the league in scoring or the guy that was averaging a triple-double? Luka Doncic led the league in scoring last year and averaged one stat away from a triple-double. So Luka, we're talking about a guy who hasn't won an MVP but has had so much success individually, giving you stat lines that you've never seen before in the regular season. And in the postseason last year, on one leg, Luka Doncic was giving you 29, 10, and 8 on 45, 32, 77, a playoff run that included him knocking off the Oklahoma City Thunder and their young and great defensive team and all that Lou Dort, Dorcher Chamber shit. Luka Doncic literally averaged, let me make sure I get it right, 25, 11, and 9 on 45, 39, 75 splits, damn near 40, 40 splits on that incredible young defense with one leg. So you're talking about if Luka Doncic has the possibility of winning a championship and a finals MVP, further cementing his legacy that maybe he should have won a few more MVPs along the way. That's what you're getting at with this.
Big Ox, back to you.
Right. So in that first round, I made sure to make 5, 6, 7 great points on why Luka Doncic's legacy won't be much impacted. Judges, make sure you're paying attention to that. In this round, I'm going to make points why SGA's legacy will have a major boost with the ring in the Finals MVP. I want to start with a couple of names. Zizi, these are some guys that you may know. Just listen up close. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony. These are all first ballot Hall of Famers that came through Oklahoma City at some point in their career and could not get it done. All these names I just named, they could not get it done. So what that means is if the SGA were to get it done in Oklahoma City, they would boost him in legacy talks. They will put him over Russell Westbrook. They would try their hardest to put him over James Harden. They're already talking about how Kevin Durant's never had a season like this. They're just begging already. Mind you, these are narrative talks. We're talking legacies, easy. They're already begging to put him up there with Kobe Bryant, put him up there with Kevin Durant. So with that being said, there's much more room for him to go. Also, there will be no question on who led that team. In order for OKC to win it, SGA has to carry a significant load. And he has a good supporting cast, but he would have to be the man to do it.
So you made some interesting points there, I will say, but you brought up some interesting names. Let me throw some numbers at you. Through their first 3 seasons in the NBA, players to average at least 25, 5, and 5. Luka, LeBron, Michael Jordan, and Oscar. So Luka's in these elite categories already, and he's doing it without an MVP. You talk about the narratives that Luka has for him. How about the narratives that he has against him? I saw Luka Doncic last year, despite averaging those incredible numbers that I gave you on one leg, they were still talking about his defense as if he could do anything about it being on one leg. You talk about Luka Doncic and the narratives that he's had to go through since, despite giving you phenomenal numbers both in the regular season and in the postseason. So when I look at that, I think to myself, if Luka wins a championship, that quiets the same narratives that were quieted when Jokic won his about if his lack of defense can win you a title, if his heliocentric offense can win you a title. He's playing with LeBron James. He's playing with the greatest of all time. And when we look at LeBron James, the one thing that he's been looking for in the past 3 years is a guy that he can have on the court to lead the offense when he's not there because he's 40 years old. Luka Doncic is the perfect player for that. So in this run, magically, to this hypothetical answer to this hypothetical question, you're expecting Luka Doncic, who has been ramping up and averaging close to 30 points a game in his game so far with the Los Angeles Lakers. You're saying that he'll be healthy come postseason time, ready to rip through everybody. If Luka Doncic becomes the first player to become the reigning Western Conference Finals MVP, get traded, and then win the Finals MVP the next year.
I got to mute you, ZZ, because your time is up. But y'all know what time it is. It is the 3-minute round. Let's make it happen. Here we go.
Answer that for me.
Last question. I'm locked in, ZZ. This is the round to ask questions. I'm locked in right now, and I just want to point out. I want to point out the fact that I think you're really discrediting LeBron James, and I think you're really discrediting.
I'm not. We're talking about Luka and SGA. Well. We're talking about Luka and SGA.
I know, but the problem, and this is I'm talking about Luka right now by saying that I think you're really discrediting the impact that LeBron would have on that. Not saying that Luka won't get the Finals MVP because that is the hypothetical we're talking about. But regardless of if he gets the Finals MVP or not, there's going to be those talks. There's going to be those talks about, well, LeBron did this, LeBron did that, and you know this. Like you can't deny the truth.
So
on the other hand, with SGA, he doesn't have another guy that's going to get.
He does. No. In this hypothetical, if SGA is to make it to the finals and win,
it would have to be on his back.
What? No. Last year in the playoffs, he was on his back when Jalen Williams wasn't averaging a good amount of points to help out SGA in that series along with Dallas. Also, Chet Holmgren in his first playoff series played a little underwhelming, especially from three, and he dipped in 3-point shooting in the playoffs. So if this is to happen, those things would have to happen as well. SGA ain't about to carry this Oklahoma City Thunder team without Jalen giving you 18,
that's the only way
Chet
they win.
Holmgren giving you
Because
18. That's not happening.
he's carried this squad so much this season.
He's carried them in the regular season. We saw them historically; they were great last year, and in the playoffs, it didn't matter because Shea was the only one to show up.
Was Shea this good last year?
No, you're right. That's
okay, that's my point.
So let me ask you this question.
He's gotten
was Shea
better.
good enough last year?
Works. You grow. Let me ask you a question. Boom.
Was Luka? So to your point, was Shea good? Was Luka Doncic as good last year? Was he as good last year in the postseason on one leg as he is this season? Let me ask you that question.
With that little floor burn?
If he's healthy going into the postseason, let me just throw some numbers at you. In his first playoff series, he averaged 31, 10, and 9 on 50% from the field and 38% from three. In his second playoff series, when healthy, he averaged 36, 8, and 10 on damn near 50-40 splits again. So what I'm
LeBron James
is with Luka Doncic healthy. If Luka Doncic is healthy, we know he one of them ones in the postseason. With SGA, he hasn't had nearly enough playoff experience as Luka has already in his 7-year career. So, if anything, the hypothetical would swing more into who would actually have a legitimate shot at going off in the postseason. It would be Luka.
Did you hear that thunder, Zizzy? Did you hear that thunder, Zizzy? Did you hear that thunder? Did you hear that thunder in the background? That's for SGA. That's for SGA. I'm a natural disaster, Zizzy. I'm a natural disaster. That's for SGA. You hear that? I brought the thunder with me, Zizzy.
Nigga, that's Thor. That's not SGA.
What I'm trying to get you to understand, Zizzy, is that there's just too much going on in La La Land for Luka Doncic.
It's not. It's really not because where's their defense? 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 If Luka Doncic doesn't play well, where do the Lakers go, Ox? If Shea doesn't play well, they got J-Dub, they got Chet, they got Lou Dort, they got Caruso, they got Hardenstein. Where does it go?
All right, y'all. That is time. Appreciate y'all for coming through and doing what y'all do best. We got Ox with the crown versus ZZ with the do-rag. Cheerio gonna go ahead and run this poll, and you guys get over there and let me know who won this last topic. Y'all, on the way out, do you have anything to say to the people?
Man, it's always a pleasure to share the screen with ZZ. Always. That's my dude. Hell of a debate. But hey, one of us was supposed to be here. And that's just what that is.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I know I had solid arguments. Whoever the anonymous GMs are, don't screw me like you did last year. I know Ox, the PC politics, I can't really beat that, but I just want to make sure everything is good on my end. Just
no politics. I just came on my points and that's it, y'all. That's all.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and then I want everybody. I want the GM to also. I mean, not the GM, the voters to go back in and also make sure
you gonna let them keep campaigning around
points. I'm just making sure. You know what I'm saying?
All right. I appreciate y'all for coming through and doing what y'all do. We're gonna get on to the next round, and y'all know who we got coming up next. But just in case you don't. We got Dion from Ohio versus John D. And then shortly thereafter, we have Penn versus Logan. Be sure to pull up to the PC after party tonight on Playback. We will be watching the Houston Rockets play against Luka and LeBron and the Los Angeles Lakers. Y'all pull up and let's get to it. But it's about time that I get these two brothers up here and we, make this happen. The first person I want to bring on stage is somebody who, y'all slept on last year. Y'all laughed at him. He told y'all he was the chosen one, but y'all didn't believe he was. And now he's back again to once again let y'all know that just like the king from Ohio, the kid from Ohio is like that. I got my man Dion. What it do?
What's good with y'all? How y'all doing today?
Cool. How you living?
Feeling great, man. Ready to compete.
You ready to prove the haters wrong once again?
Oh, yeah. You already know what today is.
Let's get into it. All right. We also got John D in the house. What's going on, John?
What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Cool. John, out of all the wild cards, you made it the furthest in the PCL last year. You are looking to do the same thing this year, but only one of y'all can make it to the Elite Eight. How you feeling, John?
Feeling pretty good, man. Feeling pretty good.
All right, let's get into it, y'all. We have our first topic of this heated debate, and here's what this topic is going to be, y'all. This is the first topic of this kind in the PCL. So the question is, or the topic is, craft a team with non-all-stars that could win a playoff series. Now it's a little context to this whole thing. The player either A, can't be an all-star this year, or B, have made 2 or more all-stars in their career. Dion, we're going to start with you, and John, we're going to start with you. Before Dion starts, I want you guys to both say who your team is, and then we'll go ahead and start the time. John, who's on your roster?
I have Kobe White, Austin Reeves, Amanda Nasor Thompson, and Ivica Zubac.
There you go. Dion, who you got?
I got Fox, I got Jared Allen, Jamal Murray, Dyson Daniels, and I got Porzingis.
There we go. Dion, your time will start when you do. Let's get into it.
All right, so I want to start with Fox. I just think Fox is just a game changer, man. I mean, when you think of Fox, you think fast, very speed, explosive. He's averaging 24, 5, and 6, 53% true shooting. Fox, gave the Kings their first playoff win in 16 years. I mean, this dude's ready for battle. I mean, top 3 player and clutch player of the year. I mean, since the award even existed. Above average passer, underrated defender, leader. And then also, when we talk about playoffs, he's a playoff riser. 27 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists inside the playoffs. This is a guy that we're talking about that took the Warriors, with Draymond, Curry, all those guys to 7 games. I mean, and he took a way lesser team than this team that I'm building right here. I mean, he lived up to the moment, skilled and poised. I mean, I'm going to let Fox be my shooting guard. I want Fox at the shooting guard because I like his playmaking, and also I want to be more aggressive. I'm going to save you guys for the one spot a little later. It's probably be Jamal Murray. But my next guy I want to talk about is Jared Allen. When it comes to Jared Allen, I think, at that 5 spot, we're building a team. You need somebody that's under control, that understands his role. And I think a player like Jared Allen is going to understand his role really good inside today's league. This guy has consistency. He's even killed, and that's what I'm really looking at for that 5 spot. Jared Allen doesn't go beyond his means. So, I mean, at that 5 spot, he's a rim cleaner, double guy. He's go out there competing, performing. So when you look at Jared Allen, I just think his entire game for the 5 spot really fits this well. And there's not that many bigs you can look at that position that's going to fit better than this guy. So, I mean, this guy right here is going to be really important to the defense.
Got to mute you, Dion. Your minute and 30 is up. John D from Chicago, it's on you now.
So the reason I picked my team is because we have a lot of athleticism. We're going to be able to run up and down the floor. We're going to be able to rebound. We're going to be able to drive. We have guys that can play off ball. If you take a look at my team, I have Kobe White, who averages 20 points per game on 60% true shooting. Austin Reeves, who averages 20 points per game, 6 assists on 60% true shooting. Amanda Nasor Thompson, who averaged 60% true shooting, and some of the better rebounding wings in the NBA. And I have Ivica Zubac, who's really good in drop coverage, really good at protecting the rim. So when I look at your team, I see 3 guards, which is great. You have a lot of ball handling, but I do see the lack of shooting in Jared Allen, in De'Aaron Fox, and in Dyson Daniels from the 3-point line. So what I'm going to do is we have the speed on the perimeter to be able to send 2 to the ball and to be able to rotate on Jamal Murray fast enough because we have 2 of some of the best athletes in the NBA. We're going to be able to run horns action with Asor and Ivica Zubac at the nail because both of these guys are great role men. And Amen Thompson is really good in the dunker spot, whether it's catching lobs, finishing, or rebounding. So I think my team is really good. I have 2 guys that can really operate in the pick and roll with Austin Reeves and Kobe White, guys that can get downhill, guys that can playmate, guys that can pull up and shoot really well. And I think I have the offensive pieces to win this 7-game series because in the end of the day, we're going to constantly hunt Jamal Murray. We're going to constantly hunt De'Aaron Fox with guys that are great in transition, guys who are extremely athletic, and guys who finish at the rim really well. What's going to happen when we get Men Thompson on Jamal Murray and he's charging at him full speed in half court and can hit from floater range? He's a 51% floater shooter, and I don't think Jamal Murray is going to be able to combat that.
Back on you, Dion. Let's do it.
So I just was explaining my team. I like Jared Allen at the 5 spot. I think this guy's a double-double. And I heard everything you said. You said you can attack my players, which I think is not really true. First of all, Dyson Daniels, is the number 1 perimeter defender inside the league today right now. I mean, he's leading the league in steals. That guy right there, you can't really, we're going to have a better defender on the perimeter than your team. And then also, when you look at De'Aaron Fox, he's not a bad defender as well. You can't hunt De'Aaron Fox on the defensive end. De'Aaron Fox is actually above average defender. So again, we have 2 of those guys that can defend. Now for Jamal Murray, that's totally fine. But you got to look at what Dyson Daniels is doing for the Atlanta Hawks right now. You know what I'm saying? He's protecting Trae Young, the worst perimeter defender inside the league. So, I mean, if he's being able to be effective on Atlanta Hawks and still be the best perimeter defender in the league, I'm pretty sure you're going to adjust with Jamal Murray. And you said if you lack shooting, that's another false statement right there. I mean, we have guys like Jamal Murray, shooting 41% from the three. If he was on my squad, I'm going to have him shoot at least 10 more threes more per game. I'll have Fox shooting a little bit more threes. And then also, you forgot a big name, Porzingis. Porzingis at the 4 spot is one of the best 4-man inside the league today right now. He's going to spread the court out. He's averaging 20 points on 7 assists. And then also Porzingis, bro, inside of an NBA playoff series setting, he can take 1 or 2 games. You know what I'm saying? He did it in game 1. 21 points in 20 minutes that dude Porzingis went up. So there's so many pieces that I can come at you with. You can't really double my guys inside the league as well. Like, because again, these 5 guys right here, like they
Gotta mute you, Dion. Your minute and 30 is up. John D, talk to us.
So when we talk about a guy in De'Aaron Fox, this is a guy who's shooting 27% from 3. He's going to shoot. Trust and believe. We're going to let him shoot. And when we talk about these guys' shot diets, these guys lean on a lot of tough shots. And I really don't agree with Dyson Daniels being the best perimeter defender on the team. I would argue I have 2 of the better guard defenders on my team in Amen and Ausar Thompson. They're way more athletic. They're taller. They're longer. They have a better leaping ability. They're better rebounders. I think those 2 guys are better defenders. But again, the shot diet with Jamal Murray and De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox does not get to the rim nearly as much as he used to. And with a guy like Amen Thompson, who's more athletic than him and faster than him, he's going to really struggle to get to the rim. And he's a below average mid-range shooter and a below average 3-point shooter. So if you're going to live on tough shots with De'Aaron Fox, you have it. If we're going to live with tough shots with Jamal Murray, who's already not athletic enough to get past Amen Thompson, you have it. So once again, I'm going to continue to force your team to take tough shots. We're going to rebound and we're going to get in transition. We're going to constantly attack Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is going to be in every action. We're going to constantly attack De'Aaron Fox because he may be a solid defender, but he's not a fantastic defender to the point where I'm confident that Austin Reeves can't score on him. Kobe White can't score on him. Amen can't play off ball with him because he's going to get lost. Jamal Murray's going to get lost. Kristaps Porzingis is going to be found multiple times trying to close out on Ausar Thompson, and we're going to blow right by him. And we all have solid playmakers on our team who can make a lot of decisions. And we have a guy in Ivica Zubac who's a great offensive rebounder. Amen and Ausar Thompson are great offensive rebounders. They're some of the best offensive rebounding wings in the entire NBA. We're going to win the possession battle, get out in transition. And
I gotta mute you, John. 90 seconds is up, but you guys know what? It's the best part of the battle. 3 minutes. Talk to
you
me.
sit here capping out like you can really attack my team. Again, I have 2 guys.
Is Jamal Murray a perimeter defender?
I have 2 guys. Jamal Murray is the weakest. Jamal Murray is the weakest defender out of our top 5, right? Jamal Murray is the weakest defender out of our top 5, which is fine. Again, Dyson Daniels has already been protecting Trae Young. We can protect Jamal Murray. The thing I have for you is though, Jamal Murray and Kristaps Porzingis. There's 2 guys inside the league right now. Jamal Murray and Porzingis are 2 guys inside the league right now, bro. That's won championships back-to-back in the last 2 years. I have 2 guys. I have NBA finalists. You see Jamal Murray what he can do inside of a playoff series. 27 points, bro. 7 assists. De'Aaron Fox is a playoff riser as well. I have 2 playoff risers on my squad. You know what I'm saying? You can't downplay that. You have all those young guys on your team, but you haven't done anything. What have any of your guys done on your squad? They have no proven
Dion, I'm gonna pause the time. I'm gonna have to step in. You asking a lot of questions, so you got to let John D answer them. Time starting again. Let's go.
So once again, Jamal Murray, he's not going to be able to keep up with the athleticism that's on the floor. He's just not. And we all know Jamal Murray plays better when he can play off of someone. Who is he going to play off of? Who's he going to play off of in a half court set?
De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox. He can play off Porzingis.
If you take a look at the tough shot,
what you mean?
De'Aaron Fox has, if you're going to say, hey, De'Aaron Fox, you're
bro. We have all the pieces, bro. We have Jared Allen, a drop off player, bro. We have Jared Allen as well. You see Jamal Murray in pick and roll. Jamal Murray is one of the best pick and roll players inside the league. I know it has a lot to do with Jokic, but that's totally fine. But Jamal Murray has a lot to do with that as well. So Jamal Murray can run pick and roll with Jared Allen. We have Porzingis, bro. Porzingis can actually make a lot of mismatch problems. You can't put a little guy on. You go shoot over him every single time. We have all that. We have all that, bro. Our team's
fellas, hold on. I'm muting you, John. Y'all yelling over each other. I'm gonna start the time back up again. Let's go. Y'all both unmuted.
Once again, KP may be a great rim protector. He's going to have to be out in space guarding 2 of the most athletic players in the NBA. They're going to get the step on him every single time. And once Jared Allen steps up, Ivica Zubac's going to finish around the rim. He has a great touch around Florida.
Bro, we know playoffs come down to guys, bro, making plays at the end of the game. I have 2 of the clutch players of all time. We see what Jamal Murray did to the Lakers, bro, inside the clutch. I have to ask you, who on your squad, bro, is going to shoot their final shots for you, bro? You have nobody, bro. I have 2 killers on my team, bro.
Okay, it's not
And then
gonna be
again,
close.
Porzingis bro, can take a game or two, bro. We have Jared Allen down there, bro, inside the paint. He's leading one of the best defenders inside the league right now. Then Dyson Daniels, one of the best perimeter defenders inside the league as well. We have a squad.
I have 3. What are you talking about?
We could have one, but we have the best shooters. When it comes down to the clutch, who are you going to trust on your team? Who? Who are you going to?
Trust Austin Reeves, and I'm going to trust our system.
You trusting Austin Reeves, bro, over Darren Fox and Jamal Murray, bro? I love Austin Reeves, but that sounds ridiculous, bro. That sounds ridiculous, bro. Come on. Come on, bro. Listen, I got bona fide guys that can give you 25 plus, bro. I got bona fide guys that can lead in the fourth quarter.
Stop that. Once again, if you want to spend the whole series with De'Aaron Fox shooting a bunch of tough mid-range shots, we will live with that. We will live with that.
But we have more than that. We got Porzingis. He's giving you 20 a night. Bro, Jared Allen can be a leading scorer, bro. Look at our defense. Jared Allen and Dyson Daniels on the defensive end, bro. That's way better, bro.
Liabilities. You have 2 really big liabilities.
All right, y'all. That is the end of 3 minutes. That was a good first topic. Y'all both chose some good-ass teams and made some good-ass compelling points. But now I need you guys to get over to the polls and vote on who you guys think won topic 1. But let's get to topic 2. Who is the most impactful role player in the NBA? Dion, you started first. So, John, you're going to take it off this round. Let's do it.
Okay, so the most impactful role player, when I look at role players, I look at impact, I look at versatility, I look at impact on both sides of the ball. So I picked Amen Thompson, who's averaging 16 points per game and 10 rebounds on 60% true shooting. If we take a look at Amen Thompson, he's the most athletic player in the league. He's 6'7", and he has played the 2, the 3, and the 4. On offense, he's great in transition. He's great as a roll man. He's great in the dunker spot, and he shoots 51% on floaters. So if we have a guy who's extremely athletic and can get to the paint at will and doesn't have to get in the restricted area to score, he's going to be dominant. He is a reason why the Houston Rockets are one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best rebounding teams in the league, and one of the best transition teams in the league. He leads the league in offensive rebound possessions as a wing. In the wings, as all the wings in the NBA, he's leading in offensive rebound possessions. This is somebody that's going to continuously rebound, get to the paint, defend. He's going to do everything you need him to do on the offensive side of the floor. Now, I know Dion's probably going to go to Amen can't shoot, Amen can't do this, but as being a floor spacer, shooting is not the only thing you need to do. Amen Thompson is somebody you have to close out on because he's really good at getting downhill, and he has a floater game, like I mentioned already, so he does not have to get all the way to the paint. He's a solid decision maker. He has very good abilities to decelerate and accelerate, where he can run past people and he can slow down and adjust his game to finish around the rim. This is somebody who screens really well. He's a really good roll man. He finishes around the rim exceptionally well. And I think he impacts the Houston Rockets way better than a lot of people estimate.
So you, Dion.
Hey, bro. He cool, bro. But, he's not more impactful than Draymond Green. Draymond Green is the most impactful role player inside of today. Not only does his intangibles not show on the stat sheet, he's a top 3 defender in the league. This guy's in Defensive Player of the Year talk. Versatile defender, great at the rim. Great communication on the defensive end. While he's also playing an enforcer for this Warriors team, like Draymond Green is the heart and the soul of the Warriors team. Like he's the enforcer. He has very high IQ. He loves the game. It's contagious to the other players. This is the guy that, with his type of confidence, let the other players around him walk with confidence. Listen, early in the season, the Warriors struggled. When it comes to the Rockets, my fault. The Warriors struggled when it comes to the Warriors. They were struggling early in the season without Jimmy Butler. And now when Jimmy Butler got added to the team, it allowed Draymond Green to go back to his role playing style. And at this moment right now, you can see them succeeding. 18-4 since Jimmy Butler got on the team. So this guy right now, I just feel like Draymond is really impacting the game on the defensive end. Not only is he a defensive player, he's like top 3 inside the league. And that's just only one side of the ball. And when you look at the offensive end for this guy, it's even more impactful than your guy. Who's the better playmaker between the two? Draymond's a better playmaker. The guys involved with the entire offense, he's more in tune with the entire star players of the team. Stephen Curry wouldn't be Stephen Curry if Draymond Green wasn't allowing guys to get involved in the offense like how he does. Draymond's creating a lot of offense for Stephen Curry. He's creating a lot of offense for others. Even on backdoor cut.
All right, Dion, I got to mute you. Your time is up. It is back on you, John. Let's do it.
So I can respect the Draymond Green pick. I just think he takes a lot of plays off from in my opinion. I do think there are plays mid game where he just take plays off and he allows way too many things. Great defender, but I would lean towards more the guy in Amen Thompson who's going to give you 100% on every single possession. And I didn't even talk about defense. Amen Thompson is extremely versatile on the defensive side. When we talk about his athleticism, playing defense in transition, being an on-ball defender, being a recovery blocker, being a great defensive rebounder as well, being a great help side role man. When you are that athletic, you have a lot of things that you can bring to the table. When you have the speed, when you have the recovery aspect, when you have the strength and the leaping ability that Amen Thompson has, and he's a really good defensive rebounder. Things on defense that Amen Thompson does, he fits in every single spot. Being versatile defensively really helps Amen Thompson be a really good role player for the Houston Rockets. Getting out in transition off of rebounds, being able to be a help side rim protector and clean up some of the messes that Fred VanVleet and Alperen Sengun make and Jalen Green make. Amen Thompson can switch and he can help on either side of the floor, whether it's all the way from the three-point line to the rim, all the way from the top of the key to the rim. He can get out in transition and play the way that he does. He can block shots. He does a lot of things defensively to the point where if you can impact the way that he does offensively and defensively for a team like the Houston Rockets who don't have enough firepower offensively, and you can give them easy looks like cutting to the basket, like rebounding, like being a lob threat. He can do so many things for the Houston Rockets to where I'm comfortable saying he's the most impactful role player in the NBA.
Back on you, Dion. Hold on right quick, Dion. You muted.
My fault, bro. The thing that it comes for the guy you're talking about is that Draymond is more impactful on defense and offense than your guy. And that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Everything that you're naming about his versatility on defense, Draymond is more versatile on the defensive end. We're talking about a 6'7" guy that can guard on the perimeter and has the most effective, he affects the defense in the paint the most out of anybody inside the league. I mean, better than anybody. Evan Mobley, any of the top guys inside the league that's inside the center paint. So, I mean, Draymond Green versatility is better than your guy. You know, then when the offensive end, you can't tell me that the guy from the Rockets is more impactful on the offensive end than Draymond Green as well, because he's not. You know what I'm saying? Draymond is more involved with his offense than he is to his. You know, Draymond is actually making the plays, creating the plays. You know, he's out there bargaining to other players. You know, he's talking to people on the bench. You know what I'm saying? You know, like him being a heart of the team, bro, it just makes him more impactful for his squad. You know, they have a losing record when Draymond doesn't play. I mean, Warriors defensive rating, without Draymond's 115, you know, with Draymond's 112, you know, and then also on the offensive rating, I think it's the biggest impact. Draymond also has 115 offensive rating with the entire team when he plays. It goes to only 108 when he doesn't play. So, I mean, even when you look at the numbers with it, Draymond's impact on the team is insane. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy right here really can do everything on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Him being like the second effective passer on the team, or, you know, even arguably the first passer on the team, really lets this team, machinery work a lot better. So I really got to go with Draymond Green. You know, he's more impactful than your guy on both ends of the floor. And I think that's the most important thing when you talk right here.
3 minutes. Let's go.
I think
I just want you to just go ahead and argue me, bro. So who's more impactful on the offensive end, bro? Your guy.
Amen Thompson is more impactful. Amen Thompson.
How is your guy more impactful on the offensive end? What does he do?
Way more. He's a better off. He's a better off ball.
No.
Argue. What does Draymond do off ball?
So again, he's a better 3-point shooter than your guy off ball. He's a better catch and shoot guy.
Still going to leave Draymond Green.
No. So Draymond Green can spread the court out. So Draymond Green can play the 5. So that allows you to play into more sets. The Warriors can run more sets with Draymond Green at the 5. They can run a low ball lineup. They can run all different type of lineups inside that. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, Draymond's a better 3-point shooter. Draymond's a better passer, right? Who's a better passer?
Okay, you can have passing, but who's a better?
He's a better passer as well. How is he a better off-ball player if he can't shoot? How is he better off-ball player if he can't shoot? Okay, so that's offense. Now let's go to defense. Who's better at guarding at the rim?
Amen's a better rebounder. He gets to the rim more. He's better in transition.
No. I think Draymond's a better rebounder.
How much?
Who's better at the rim? Who's better at guarding at the rim?
He gets to the rim.
Who's better at defense, bro? We know Draymond's better at defense, bro. At the rim,
way bigger for him.
If you want to go to rebound, that's totally fine. Draymond Green's more versatile, bro. He's more versatile.
I'm pausing the time right quick. Y'all can't ask questions and then talk over each other. Y'all can't respond to each other if both of y'all talk.
Go ahead, bro. I'm really cooking, bro. It's too easy, bro. Go ahead. Say the bullshit you got to say, bro.
Now it's too easy.
It's too easy, bro. You feeling good?
Thompson is a better offensive player than Draymond. He's a better offensive player.
How? I'm giving you
Okay. If I can talk, you're asking a lot of questions and I can't answer them. So what I'm trying to ask you is, if I'm giving you 5 to 6 reasons of why Amen Thompson is a better offensive player than Draymond Green, and you keep ignoring them by saying who's a better defender. We're talking about offense. The offensive gap between Draymond and Amen is way bigger than the defensive gap between Amen and Draymond. Draymond takes a lot.
Let's talk straight offense then. Again, bro, I've asked you who's the better playmaker, who's the better facilitator and playmaker on between those two. Who?
It's not a big gap.
It's Draymond. Since you don't want to answer the question, let's test it on offense. Draymond Green, bro. Okay, so Draymond's a better playmaker. Who's a better three-point shooter? Who spreads the court out better? Who can you put into a lineup to run more sets with? Draymond Green or your guy? He's more impactful, bro. He's more impactful.
Playmakers,
bro, and then defense is not even close. So you better stay on offense. Defense is not even close. It's not even close. So you better stay on offense. Draymond's still a better offensive player than him.
The offensive gap between Amen and Draymond is way bigger than the defensive gap.
No, it's not. No, Draymond's better on both sides of the ball.
Playmaking is also cutting. Playmaking is also being a roll man. Playmaking is also being in transition.
No, your guy can't shoot. He doesn't play at a high level. He's a decent playmaker, but he makes a lot of bad decisions. We've seen in the games that he's turned the ball over in the game.
Draymond doesn't.
Draymond does. Draymond's a better playmaker. Draymond Green's impacting. Him playmaking is more impactful than your guy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Draymond's getting the best shooter open. Who's the best shooter in the NBA? Stephen Curry.
He's a better rebounder. He's better in transition.
He's getting the best shooter open, bro. He's getting the whole team involved, bro. Every single play, bro. And then defense again, he's more versatile. He guard on perimeter, and he's better at the defense inside the paint. My guy Draymond's more impactful, bro. In the heart, the soul.
All right, fellas. All right. We get it, y'all. We get it. That was things are starting to heat up, y'all. The first topic, y'all got to it. The second topic, y'all on fire. So now we're gonna get into this third topic because now I see that y'all both ready to go. So the third topic that we have is which team has the most offensive firepower in the NBA? Fellas, you guys talk to me. Dion is back on you.
I mean, to me, bro, I feel like it's the Lakers, bro. I think the Lakers have the most firepower in the league. It's not about like, you know what I'm saying, who's averaging the most points in the league right now. It's about who has the most firepower, who's the most explosive team in the league, bro. It's the Lakers. First of all, I'm going to start with Luka, bro. Luka's the best scorer in the league. I mean, over the last 2 seasons, averaging 32, he's averaging 28 this season right now. You know, if he wasn't injured or if he didn't come back, from getting traded, he probably averaged 32 points. I mean, this is a guy that's a normal standard, a 30 and 10 guy. His ability, he can go out there and give you 50 to 70 points a night. You talk about explosive. You talk about the most power in the league. He can go out there and give you 50 to 70 points in one game. Listen, Luka doesn't need others to create for him. He creates for others as well. I mean, a top 5 passer in the league. You know, you got LeBron, you got Luka, and then you got Jokic. I mean, these are top 3 passers inside the league when you look at the passes inside of the league. Luka is an extremely special player. I mean, inside of this month of March, this dude's out there giving you 30 and 9 while shooting 41% from 3. I mean, on 10 attempts. So when you look at a guy like Luka, bro, he's out there shooting over 40% on 10 attempts from 3. If he continues that at least for the next couple months inside the playoffs, he's gonna be the best 3-point shooter inside the league. I mean, again, bro, and this is only one guy of this offense. Another thing Luka's good at, he's good at in the transition. So again, he's a good passer in transition. So that brings him to LeBron James. You know, LeBron James being one of the best transition players inside the league right now, you know what I'm saying? And Luka being able to get the ball to him quick, this makes LeBron James more effective. And I'm going to talk about more of the team in my next segment.
Let's go, John.
I knew you were going to pick the Lakers. But I think the Celtics have the better offensive firepower. When you talk about a team who's the best 3-point shooting team in the league, and they probably have the best scheme in the league, and they probably can't find a better group of personnel to fit that scheme. You have multiple guys who's shooting over 40%. You have some of the best mismatch attackers in the NBA in Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis. They have such an easy way to create switches out of pick and roll, whether it's Kristaps Porzingis creating a pick and roll with Jason Tatum, the way they're able to just switch possessions and switch defenders, and Jason Tatum's able to create in isolation. They have multiple guys, even off the bench. You know, they have multiple guys that can shoot 40% from 3. Derek White is shooting 38% from 3 on 9 attempts. Kristaps Porzingis is shooting 40% from 3 on 5 attempts. Jason Tatum shooting 36% on 10 attempts. And their guy that does not shoot the best in the starting lineup is one of the better mismatch attackers in the league, because once again, trying to send 2 to the ball does not work because you're constantly going to get in a rotation. Kristaps Porzingis can get to the elbow and score on almost anybody. He's leading the league in points per possessions on post-ups. We have the better team with the more offensive firepower. We talked about Luka Doncic. The last time Luka Doncic was fully healthy and playing at the level of Luka Doncic, he was on the Mavericks. Luka Doncic's tough shot making ability is not going to outmatch what the Boston Celtics are able to do with getting wide open shots at will. They have multiple guys that can hit outside shots. I haven't even brought up Sam Hauser. I haven't brought up Peyton Pritchard. I haven't brought up Al Horford. All of these guys can bring a level of offense that outside of maybe the top 3 guys on the Lakers can't match. They are the better team with the more offensive firepower.
Back on you, Dion.
You have no firepower, bro. And I'm happy I got to speak about Luka for that first one. I have a lot more to say about the Lakers. But again, you said Luka's not playing like Mavericks. Luka, again, I just told you he's averaging 30 and 9 while shooting 41% from 3 on 10 attempts in the whole entire month of March. So, I mean, the fact that he's going to get better than that should tell you everything you need to know, buddy. And again, when it comes to LeBron James, the fact that Luka can get in transition and pass the ball to LeBron, that brings me to my next point. LeBron James is the best second option inside the NBA and NBA history. I mean, even the only guy you could probably compare him to is KD with the 2017 Warriors. But when you think about LeBron James' assists added to it, bro, it's not even close. And Luka and LeBron as a duo, bro, they average the most points per game together as a duo, I mean, inside of NBA history. And what I mean by that is, I mean, only team that can compete with them is the 1961-62 Warriors that had Wilt Chamberlain averaging 50. So when you combine LeBron James points and assists and Luka points and assists, and you add them together, bro, they're the craziest duo to ever exist. And again, that's only the 2 guys on this team I'm talking to you about. So my 2 guys, LeBron and Luka, impacts the game way more than your 2 guys, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And then when you look at the third option, Austin Reeves, you just was craving about Austin Reeves last round. I heard you about it, bro. Austin Reeves is averaging 20 points and 6 assists, per game. This guy is one of the best third options inside the league. These guys can produce a lot of points. They can produce so many points that even right here, I have it right here. These 3 guys, bro, the first trio in NBA history to log in 25, 5, and 5 with at least 2 threes made. Nobody in NBA history has ever done it.
Gotta mute you, Dion, because John, it's back to you. Talk to us.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks are considered one of the best duos in the league with points per game when you combine them together, and they're the 14th ranked offense. You've spent 2 rounds talking about 3 players when I can mention 9 players on the Boston Celtics who add firepower to what they already do. When you go against the Boston Celtics, the goal is to get them to miss their threes or to outshoot them. That's really tough to do, and they have a bunch of guys on their team that can do that and carry out that scheme better than any other team in the league. Once again, Derek White, 38% from 3, 9 attempts a game. Jason Tatum is one of the best mismatch attackers in the NBA, and he's one of the better wing playmakers in the NBA. Jaylen Brown is a constant mismatch attacker, and you have the space around him for him to be the most effective. Even their rookie Baylor Shireman is going off. Peyton Pritchard and Derek White combined for 80 points together without their best player in Jason Tatum. Like, I'm talking about the entire team. You're not going to sell me on 3 players. You're not going to sell me on 3 players because you can bring up 1 and 2. They may be better than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You're not going to sell me that Austin Reeves is a better offensive player than Kristaps Porzingis with the level that he shoots at 7 foot tall and plays at the elbow and creates mismatches. You're not going to convince me that Austin Reeves is better than him. And then when we talk about 3 through 8, they clear the Lakers. What are we going to do when Gabe Vincent isn't hitting his shot? What are we going to do when Dalton Knecht isn't hitting his shot? Because it's shooting variance with those guys. They can't do much more without that. When we talk about guys like Rui Hachimura, if he's not hitting his shots, what else? Vando is their best defender, and he can't even play because of his offensive deficiency.
All right, John, I got to mute you. We got the 3-minute round. Before I put this timer up here, y'all spent the first 2 rounds yelling over each other. Let's be a little more sophisticated for this 3 minutes, fellas. Let's get to it.
So I'm happy you challenged me to talk about the other players. I just wanted to let you guys know how crazy the top 3 players of that team is. Those top 3 players are more effective than your whole entire offense. I'm going to let you know. And again, let's talk about the other options now that you want to talk about the other options. Rui Hachimura, another guy, another 4th option. You can't name that many other guys inside the league at the 4th option spot that's better than Rui Hachimura. The guy's put up 13 points, 41% from 3. And then guess what? Over the last 10 games, this guy's shooting 50% from 3. And then you don't talk about Gabe Vincent now, bro. Gabe Vincent actually been hooping lately, actually, too, as well. And we look at his numbers. I mean, he's shooting over, 41% from 3. So if Gabe Vincent can keep that up, that's another element to the game. And then Dalton Knecht, bro, the young guy, the rookie, bro, right? He's one of the best players off the bench right now, one of the best catch and shoot guys inside the league. We're deep from start to finish,
hold on, because
bro.
I forgot that this isn't your just 1.5 minute round. So once again, Rui Hachimura, he's not a better offensive player than KP. He's not a better offensive player than
Why
Derek.
you keep naming KP? Isn't KP the third option?
And if we're talking about 3 players, how come they haven't been a better offense than the Celtics all
Because
season?
you can't. Because how long has Luka and LeBron James played together? What are you talking about? Listen, you can't. See, I know you're gonna try to bring the numbers up. You can't compare that. We haven't seen LeBron and Luka together long enough. Luka came to the team. LeBron James got injured. We haven't seen him long enough. So you can't compare that the whole season to the Boston Celtics, bro. That's unfair. That's sick. That's nasty, bro. That's nasty. Again, you try to play me like I didn't know our whole entire squad. I just broke down the whole entire squad to you, bro. And then again, Jackson Hayes had 15 points in the first half. He's a drop-off guy. We're playing with Luka.
I gotta mute you guys. I'm gonna put a little more time on the clock, and I need you guys to stop yelling over each other. All right, let's get into it. Y'all got it.
Once again, the Celtics have the better playoff floor. They have the better playoff floor.
The better playoff floor? Are you kidding me?
Floor. They have the better
LeBron James and Luka. I just told, bro. Okay, again. I know. Listen, talk about real quick. Let me just say this. Out of those duos, bro, that I just named to you, bro. Name me the third option, fourth option more effective than Rui and Austin Reeves. You can't, bro. Those two juggernauts. And then you name Giannis and Dame, bro. When you add Giannis and Dame assists and playmaking, they're not playmakers like LeBron James and Luka. You can't compare those two. LeBron and Luka can get you 30 and 10, bro. It doesn't matter, bro. You don't have that type of capacity on your team, bro. They're going to outplay Jason Tatum. What did Jason Tatum shoot inside the playoffs last year in the finals, bro? What did he shoot? Can you trust Jason Tatum, bro? You can't. You can trust LeBron and Luka way more, bro.
About shooting variance, the Celtics are 20 and 13. They shoot under their league average from 3. They're still well above 500.
Listen, you're trying to relevate numbers that doesn't matter. We haven't seen the team together long enough to go through off basic numbers.
So once again,
bro, we have to look at the firepower. Just because I got my firepower, don't mean I got to shoot all my bullets, bro.
Hold on,
that's what I'm saying to you, bro.
Hold on, I'm gonna give each of you 15 seconds to kick things off. John, I'm gonna start with you. Go ahead. You got 15 seconds. Hold on, wait. Go ahead.
Is Derek White a better ball handler than Rui Hachimura? Is Derek White a better ball handler than Rui Hachimura?
Do you want me to answer the question or keep fucking dragging your mouth, bro? What do you want me to answer the question, bro? Are you done talking in, bro? Then what you gotta say then, bro? Hurry up and say it in, bro. What do you gotta say then? What do you have to say then? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead, answer the question, bro. Because again, I got a lot to say, but you keep talking over me, bro. Again, I'm gonna keep talking though. Again, like I said, so Ron, he just wasted his 15 seconds, bro. He just wasted his 15 seconds, bro. Right. So, bro, no. Again, bro. Again, my ceiling and my floor is higher than yours. I have a guy that can get 80 points. I have LeBron James to go out there and give you 40 or 20. My superpower is way better than yours. And my third option, bro, Austin Reeves been more consistent than Porzingis, bro. Bro, this year, Austin Reeves is more consistent than Porzingis, bro, at my third option, bro. Austin Reeves the best third option inside the league, bro. Bro, 2 30-point back-to-back games, bro.
All right, fellas, here's what we gonna do. I'm gonna give each of you guys, like I said, 15 seconds to make your final point. Dion, I'm gonna start with you. Go ahead. You got 15 seconds.
Okay, I have 2 of the greatest superstars inside the league, bro. LeBron James and Luka, bro. And then I have the best third option inside the league, Austin Reeves. The guy can give you 20 points. He has 2 30-point back-to-back games. Listen, when you look at Austin Reeves, bro, he can play alongside those big personalities of Luka and LeBron James. It makes the team dangerous. This trio, bro, I told you, they're breaking NBA history right now.
All right, Dion, that's 15 seconds. John, you got 15 seconds on the clock to make your final point. Let's go.
He spent the entire debate talking about 3 players. I talked about the entire team. It doesn't matter how good LeBron, Luka, and AR are. The question is, which team, Dion? TEAM. Which team has more offensive firepower? It's the Celtics.
All right, fellas. This was a hell of a round, hell of a topic.
Stop capping, bro.
Hell of a debate.
Stop lying, bro.
Everybody in the chat, make sure you like the video, turn on the notification bells. Dion and John, do you guys have anything to say on the way out?
Oh, yeah, I whooped his ass.
Dion? Say that one more time.
I whooped your ass again. And then I talk about more than the Lakers, too, by the way, bro. Wait till y'all run it back, bro. I talk about more than just the 3 players, bro.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Dion and John. I expect to see you guys, or I hope to see you guys at least at the after party on Playback, and you guys can definitely talk about the rest of your battles and why you guys made more compelling points. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys both on the panel sometime soon.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Oh, all right, y'all. You know what's coming up next. We got the Goon from Toronto versus one of your favorite basketball minds ever, Let's go ahead and get into it. We got 3 good topics and we got 2 good panelists, but only one person can make it to the next round. So let's go ahead and make it happen. Penn, Low, what's going on with y'all?
Just call him Low. Also, did you introduce me as a goon? And he's one of the greatest basketball minds of all time. I guess I don't have a chance.
You don't want to be a goon?
Nah, I'd rather be one of the best basketball minds of all time.
All right, I have 2 of the best basketball minds of all time.
There we go.
I got Penn and I got Low. How you guys feeling today?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you guys for having me back on. I'm really excited for it.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. You guys already know we have 3 topics today. The first 2 rounds will be 1:30, and the last round will be a 3-minute exchange. The first topic that we rocking with is who is the deepest team in the NBA. Penn, is on you. Your time starts when you do.
So for the deepest team, I took a softball. I took the OKC Thunder. I look at the Thunder's record without Chet Holmgren, 22-4. Sorry, with Chet Holmgren, 22-4. Without him, 40-8. With J-Dub, 51-12. Without J-Dub, 11-0. With iHeart, 46-6. Without iHeart, 16-6. You know what all those records have in common? They would all those records, we're talking 85%, 83%, 81%, 100%, 88%, 72%, would all be still good for best team in the West, which means this is a team that is withstanding their injuries and they're withstanding losses to key rotation players. Okay. The second best team in the West is the Houston Rockets, by the way. So when I look at the Thunder, they have 4 players with a higher defensive EPM than the current odds-on favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year, Evan Mobley. And that's Alex Caruso, Chet Holmgren, J-Dub, and Shea. So that's depth. They started a 6'6" Jalen Williams. Yes, a 6'6" Jalen Williams. My mind was inspired by the innovation when everyone was saying, you got to go sign a 7-footer. You're going to get killed on the inside. You're going to get knocked out of the first round. You know, they beat the Clippers with Ivica Zubac. Then they went up and they beat the Phoenix Suns. Yusuf Nurkic went 0 for 7 in that game. This team is able to withstand everything because of their depth. They're the deepest team in the league.
Logan, your time will start when you do.
My fault, y'all. I'm trying to get my mic unmuted. It's a good argument for Oklahoma City. They've been super resilient this season. I got to give you that. No J-Dub, no Chet, no iHeart. And the small ball lineup you're talking about was ridiculous, man, because they were putting up historic defensive ratings even without them. The one thing I want to counter with real quick, you're using defensive box plus minus for individual players, which I think is more of a team stat, so I wouldn't put a whole lot of credence in that, but it's a good aggregation for the team defense as a whole. I went with the Memphis Grizzlies, and the reason I went with Memphis is a few reasons. One, I think Oklahoma City is dependent on SGA offensively so heavily that they need him a lot. And I think they have impeccable depth. I think both of these teams do. I just think Oklahoma City is so dependent on him for offense, and they've been better in this respect since they've gotten more healthy. But I think it's Memphis. Ja Morant is not the Grizzlies' best player. It's Triple J. But Ja is still a really good point guard, and they've got an excellent number 3 in Desmond Bane as well. But beyond that, I think the versatility of this team's role players is why they're the deepest team in the league. I can name down 12 rock-solid guys in total. After those guys, Edey, Jalen Wells, Aldama, Scottie Pippen Jr., Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams Jr., Luke Kennard, Jay Huff. This team is super deep, and all of these guys provide different positions, different needs, different archetypes, and that's why I think they're the deepest team in the league. In Oklahoma City, you have some redundancy in skill sets.
Back at you, Penn. Let's go.
While I agree that there are holes in defensive analytics, defensive EPM does attempt to measure out a individual player's impact on their defense, which does show why certain OKC Thunder defenders are so highly rated on that stat. But I think it's worth noting just how do we define depth? Because I agree that the Memphis Grizzlies are very deep, but I would say it's an artificial depth. It is a depth constructed by play style, coaching style, because they don't play their starters heavy minutes. Do they have a single starter that plays over 33 minutes? Do they have a single starter that has over 7 win shares? They don't. So Larry Brown once said, you are what you guard. So I want to redefine depth, not as 1 through 5 or 5 through 9, 1 through 12. I want to look at your depth chart. I want to look at How many players can play how many different ways on offense and defense as the definition of how I would interpret depth? Okay. Here's Thunder players who can guard at least 3 positions: J-Dub, J-Will, SGA, Chet, Kenrich Williams, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, possibly Nikola Topic if he ever plays,
Isaiah
Usman
Joe.
Jang,
Isaiah
Alex
Joe about
Caruso,
$160, man.
Alex Caruso, Aaron Wiggins. Okay. So Jay Will and Chet spends 9% of their time guarding small forwards. Caruso spends 18% of his time guarding power forwards. The fact that, Jalen Williams, a guard wing, was able to play center, this is depth. Dub is, 98th percentile versatility. Wiggins, 97th percentile versatility. Kenrich Williams is 92nd percentile versatility. Dort is 89th percentile versatility.
Gotta mute you, Penn. Your time is up. Logan is back on you.
The only thing I disagree with about that, because I think Oklahoma City has a historic defense, and it is the totality of all their players. It's not just Chet, it's not just iHeart, it's not just J-Dub, SGA. It is the cumulative talent that they have defensively. The one thing I want to push back on is what you're talking about with the starters and the minutes distribution. I think it's disingenuous to these players. The reason that they don't have to play their starters that much is because they rely on the depth so much, because these guys can play big minutes and give them really solid minutes. Another thing that I was going to praise when I was prepping this throughout the week, I was going to praise Taylor Jenkins' ability to get the most out of his players. Obviously, during the week, he gets fired. That was completely unexpected, but it was Jenkins' coaching ability and Memphis's unique ability to develop players. Of the five of the guys that I mentioned earlier have actually spent time with Memphis's G League affiliate, and I think it's something that really stands out about Memphis's depth and just how they get these guys. They were all G League guys, and now they're in the rotation. I think that speaks to Memphis's ability to develop guys, to bring them up to speed, and to just implement them. But it really is the diversity of skill sets I was talking about earlier, right? Scottie Pippen Jr., if Ja Morant is out, is an excellent playmaker, can score at all 3 levels, right? Aldama is a super versatile wing, along with Vince Williams Jr. as well. To me, it's the diversity of skill sets and the ability to plug in any guy when any starter is out that makes Memphis's versatility a little bit better than Oklahoma City's.
All right, you guys know what round it is. It is the 3-minute round. We are going back and forth. Let's kick it off, guys.
Okay, I mean, I got to tell you, the Memphis Grizzlies argument was interesting. I thought you might go there. I thought of all the deepest teams in the league, and I think you might agree that some of these teams would be on your list. The 86, 87 Celtics, the 15, 16 Warriors, the 95, 96 Bulls, right?
For sure.
Do you know that all of those teams had one thing in common? None of them had at least 12 players with at least 1 win share. They were all very deep. They were all very good. There are 2 teams in the league this year that have that number of players with that many win shares. And those are the 2 teams we're discussing right now. Ironically,
that's
right?
pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. But I do want to mention that your player, Jake LaRavia, your 12th player.
LaRavia was balling before he got dealt to Sacramento, yeah.
But he's no longer on your team, so you only got 11 now.
Marcus Smart was there too. And I didn't even mention Brandon Clark, who's out for the season. So I think that speaks to it as well.
I agree with you that they develop these talents out of nowhere, and it's beautiful how they're willing to do it. But I still believe that the positional versatility of having a player like Cason Wallace who can play 4 positions, 3 positions, I do. And even Chet, like the number of styles you can play. I look at a depth chart and I imagine myself, what happens when my point guard is out? Do I have a wing who can actually play point? Do you have a wing who can play point?
That's exactly, actually, Penn, I'm glad you bring that up, because that's exactly why I prefer Memphis's versatility, because I'm talking about, hypothetically, right? You were talking about earlier how they withstood injuries to Chet. Bang, didn't matter. They had the bodies to step up. Props to them. iHeart's out. They have bodies that can step up. I don't think Memphis has that problem. I think that any guy could be out of the lineup and they can supplement his abilities. I think if a guy like SGA went down for OKC, I don't think they have the guys that can step up and produce. Like, I like Cason offensively. I like what some of these guys bring. That's the unique problem to Oklahoma City, in my opinion. I think if Ja went down, you got Pippen. I think if Triple J goes down, you got Aldama. I think if Bane goes down, you got Kennard. I just think that Oklahoma City's a little bit more dependent offensively on SGA, and that's why I prefer Memphis's bench.
Would you agree that SGA is probably the prohibitive favorite to win MVP?
He would be my MVP.
He'd be mine too. So he does, he does dominate a lot of that. And you're fair to question how this team might do in his absence. But did you know something fun about me? Did you know that I'm a big Nerd Sesh fan?
I did hear you propping me up last week, with respect.
So I stumbled across a video, and I was going to save this for our next debate, but I stumbled across a video about Chet Holmgren where you had this little title, MVP. So I would ask you, is there a player on your team that you're defending right now that you would call a potential MVP in the future?
Not a chance.
Exactly. So how would they do without Shea?
All right,
They-
fellas, that is the time. Unfortunately, you guys were just getting into it, but we are gonna have to move on to topic 2. You guys that are watching the video, make sure you run over to the polls and vote on who you believe won that first topic. Let's get into the second topic, Cheerio. Go ahead and cue it up. We spoke on deepest teams in the league. Now let's speak on who has the best third option in the NBA. Penn, you went first in round 1, topic 1. So Logan, you're gonna go first with topic 2.
I think the best third option in the league right now is Austin Reeves, and he's been on a burner recently. Over the last 10 games, Reeves has given you 27 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, and 6 assists per game on 53% from the field, 38% from deep, with a true shooting percentage of 68%. Ridiculous numbers. The reason I think Reeves is the best third option in the league is because of just how malleable and portable his skill set is. I think this is a guy that can score on ball and off ball for you super effectively, and I think you've seen that in his ability to thrive without LeBron or Luka, and in his ability to thrive alongside those guys. He's a 38% catch and shooter, but he can also score individually and efficiently at every single level. He's a 69% scorer inside the restricted area, and he averages 5 free throw attempts per night. He's a 47% shooter in the paint non-restricted area, and a 41% mid-range shooter, and a 38% shooter on pull-ups. The most staggering numbers that I found, though, was just how great the Lakers' offense was with Reeves on and with one of these stars off. The Lakers' offense this season has a better offense with Reeves on by himself without LeBron than with LeBron on and with Reeves off. The Lakers' offense has a better offense with Reeves on with Luka off than with Luka on and Reeves off. And that also applies to Anthony Davis. All of the Lakers' best offensive lineups have been with Reeves on the floor, and he's considered a third option. I'll let you chew on that for a minute.
Penn, go ahead and start chewing. It's on you.
I don't have a minute to chew because unfortunately I have to respond to this. Now, I think it's always good to establish what is a third option, right? And you seem to be talking a lot about offense, and I'm glad you didn't bring up the defense. He's been all right defensively, but not like my guy. I really thought you were going to go somewhere else. But I thought about this question a lot. I respect my opponent here. I thought about this for a week. Who are the greatest third options of all time? I thought about Chris Bosh, Klay Thompson, James Worthy, Manu Ginobili, Ray Allen, Kevin Love, Draymond Green, all champions, all great number threes, but they have some stuff in common that I think, is worth noting. They impact the floor on both ends, right? They're usually capable of stepping into a more prime role to elevate their weaker units in case of foul trouble, injuries, etc. But they're also able to get out of the way and provide value in terms of spacing with their off-ball stuff, and it could be with shooting like Ray Allen or Chris Bosh, and it could also be with the other stuff, the ancillary stuff, the cutting, the screening, the secondary playmaking like Draymond or, someone like Manu Ginobili. But they can usually play a few different ways, offensively and defensively. They're usually pretty versatile. They can do it all, right? I look around the league. Tell me which player fits what I just described better than Chet Holmgren. He can elevate units as a first option. He can be a cheat code in the pick and roll, either side of it. He's providing you spacing when he doesn't have the basketball, better than Bosh ever did, by the way. He's giving you DPOY impact, which is Austin Reeves can never do that. He was a prohibitive favorite to win DPOY before he got hurt.
All right, Logan, it's back on you. Your time will start when you do.
Damn, I don't know if I know who I'm going to guess you're talking about Kristaps Porzingis, but I don't know if I got a name out.
Chet.
Oh, Chet. Well, that's interesting. I would probably consider Chet to actually be Oklahoma City's second option. And I want to be clear about something because I don't want to paint myself into a corner. I didn't consider defense at all when I was thinking about this. When I hear third option, I think third offensive option. So I didn't even consider defense because I think there's a lot of different answers you could go with. So I focus solely offensively. And That's at least what I think about when I hear option. I want to give you guys some advanced looks into those numbers that I mentioned earlier. With Reeves, without LeBron, the Lakers have a 123.5 offensive rating, 11.7 points higher than a lineup with LeBron without Reeves. With AD on the floor, the Lakers had an offensive rating without Reeves of 113.5. With Reeves without AD, they had an offensive rating that was 6.7 points higher. And with Luka, the Lakers had an offensive rating of 116.5 without Reeves. With Reeves without Luka, they had an offensive rating that was 2 points higher. So again, all of the best lineups are coming with Reeves. And again, I think his skill set is so unique that he can fit alongside other superstars and be a spot-up guy and a closeout attacker and a tertiary playmaker. But by himself, he can put the team on his back and give you a 30-piece with 10 assists when he needs to, because Austin Reeves is just like that. I still think he's underrated. He is one hell of an offensive player. He's the best third option in the league.
Back to you, Penn. Let's go.
I'm really surprised to have you say that Chet is not the third option. Do you know that Aaron Wiggins attempts more shots per 75 possessions than him? So forget third option. Some nights he's their fourth option. If you're only talking offense, he's clearly their third option. I was doing some Chet research in preparation for our debate, and I came across one of my favorite podcasts, and I'm going to quote some great gems from it, because these super smart guys, they laid it out better than I probably ever could. The best prospect we've seen since Anthony Davis. The ideal modern big man, a uniquely fluid athlete, can space the floor at a high level, a generational defender. His impact on winning is so rare for a rookie that he could have been my rookie of the year pick in all but a few classes this century. They asked a beautiful question. How many 7-footers do you know that can attack a closeout, draw the help, and then dot up the cutter with a precise bounce pass? And I was like thinking about it. I'm like, damn, how many 7-footers in league history do I actually know who could do that? Arvydas Sabonis, maybe Jokic, a little bit slow. But those guys were megastars and first options. The better question is, how many third options do you know that can do that at 7 feet tall while providing the value that Chet provides on the defensive end? And I do consider defense as a part of this equation. I'm sorry you didn't, but we can agree to disagree. The thumbnail said future MVP. If you haven't guessed already, the podcast that I'm talking about is your podcast, Nerd Sesh. Those words are yours and Logan's, yours and Carson's words. So what do you guys say about that?
We have 3 minutes, fellas. Y'all know what to do. The time is starting now.
So to get that caveat out of the way, one, I would never argue Reeves' two-way ability over Chet's. Chet's one of the best rim protectors on the planet, and if that does factor into you, I don't really have anything. Purely offensively, one, I would consider Chet to be their second option. I get what you're talking about with the field goal attempts per game and stuff like that. The stuff Chet was doing at the beginning of the year, attacking mismatches, being aggressive, special shit. What I will say, I think Chet is a little bit more theoretical offensively if we're just looking at that side of the ball than what he will be, because I think all of the stuff that we said in that video is true. Those guys do great stuff over there. I'm glad Penn's citing our work. He's a smart guy. Chet's going to be there one day. I think he's an MVP candidate one day. I think this is a guy, like you said, can attack closeouts at a high level, can play make, can handle, can shoot, can score at all three levels. And one day, I think will be like a real kind of post hub, like some of the players that you're talking about. The only thing I'd say to that is I think if we're looking at him offensively right now, there's just a level of polish that I'm getting with Reeves that I'm just not getting with Chet. Chet can have those nights where he's a little bit more passive. He's not super aggressive and trying.
Logan, I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna step in, and I'm gonna let Penn respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, I fully understand that, you know, the on-ball dynamicism and some of the stuff that Austin Reeves has been doing is crazy. I would tell you that, you know, what Chet might be able to do in a different situation is your guess is as good as mine, right? And I think that because he does carry such a large load defensively, because he's kind of easing back from the injury, I wouldn't necessarily only use this year's numbers to be like, this is who Chet Holmgren is. I look at the entire body of work. I look at the body of work that had you guys calling him the best prospect since AD, because that wasn't just his defense. You were also talking about his offense. And on offense, I do think that he is very unique. I think he's a cheat code in off-ball action. You can't switch a guard on him. You can't switch a big on him. He spaces the floor. He makes free throws. That's a rare thing for bigs sometimes. He makes 77% of his free throws on his career. He's relatively mistake-free, as evidenced by the fact that he's third on his team in usage and fifth in turnover rate. And the spacing and the ability to drive out on a closeout. Look, he might be a 36.7% three-point shooter, and I think he has the shooting for him to potentially make that 40, 41% at some point. But they don't guard him like a league average shooter. They guard him.
Pin, I'm gonna step in. I'm gonna kick it back to Logan. I'm gonna put a little more time on the clock because I want you guys to go back and forth for the rest of this battle.
Yeah, real quick. Just my thing is, you were talking about the options and the roles and stuff like that. And my thing with Chet is just Chet can have off nights like that because he doesn't have that kind of offensive burden or responsibility on his shoulders. And I get that kind of the thing of being a third option, right? But Shea has been so good. The aggregate shooting has been so good. You mentioned last round how great they've been without Chet Holmgren. It's like his expectations are different. And so maybe I shouldn't hold that against him because he's got such a legendary player and good shooting around him. But it's like Reeves doesn't have that luxury. He has to produce every night. And like I mentioned earlier, 27 and 6 over the last 10 games, 68% true shooting. He's lived up to it. Chet still has those off nights.
I'm gonna give you a little more time, Pin. Logan ran off 45 seconds. I'm gonna give you something close. Go ahead.
I guess we're not used to people just allowing the other person to talk. Like, I'm not going to scream over Logan, and I knew going into this that he wasn't going to do that over me. So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate being able to have a discussion like this because hopefully everyone can hear our points. Look, I understand what you're saying about Chet's season. He hasn't had the greatest season overall. The talent still remains, the theoretical upside still remains, but also the archetype and what he does for his team still remains. The ability to be able to stretch the floor as a 5 or a 4, potentially. The ability to be able to occasionally switch out to guards. Now, I understand that you don't necessarily want to talk about defense, but to me, that's a really big deal. If I asked you one of these two players in a playoff series is going to give you MVP level impact, who would you put your money on?
All right, fellas, that is the conclusion of the time for topic 2. Let's go ahead and get to topic 3. Before we do this, you guys know what you're supposed to do. Get over to the polls and vote on who you think won that topic. Now, here we go. Topic 3. Some good legacy talk. Mars, cover your ears. We got Kawhi versus Giannis Antetokounmpo. Whose legacy is boosted more with a ring and a Finals MVP? Pin is back on you. Your time will start whenever you do.
So, look, I got a sweatshirt that says story over everything. I think legacies are all about story. The Athletic ranked Kawhi as the 34th ranked player of all time in 2021. And that number would probably be lower if they did a similar list today. The NBA also put him on his 75th, on their 75th anniversary team. But people don't really talk about him like Steph and KD and LeBron. It's always Zaza leaving Toronto, leaving San Antonio. His legacy is load management. And all of these narratives overshadow what he's done when he's actually been healthy. I'll read out the resume. 6-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 2-time champion, 2-time Final MVP, All-Star Game MVP, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Steals champ. But people don't respect Kawhi like that. Do you realize that he finished ahead of LeBron in MVP voting in his prime in 2016? You forgot. 14,552 points in his NBA career. That's 172nd in NBA history. Here's some players ahead of him. By the way, he just passed my dog, Allen Houston, last week. He's behind Spencer Hayward. He is by far the best player from his 2011 draft class. No disrespect to Clay and Kyrie and Jimmy. But do you know he's 6th in his own draft class in terms of scoring? So he's behind Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris over me again? The argument for Kawhi will never be totals. We know that. It'll have to be what he did when it mattered the most, in the playoffs, in the finals, in the biggest moments, and that third ring and Finals MVP puts him into uncomfortable conversations.
Logan, 1:30 on you.
Shout out to Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? That's what I'm really worried about. And I think Kawhi gets underrated. Personally, I would have Kawhi somewhere in that 25 to 30 range. But to me, what Giannis has been doing recently, and specifically over these last 6 seasons, a ring and a Finals MVP would cap off a more historic run of dominance. It's one of the highest basketball peaks of all time. I think it's higher than Kawhi's, and I don't think we can take it for granted. Over his last 6 seasons, this is a 6-season sample size, not 1, not 2, 6. Giannis is giving you 30 points, 12 boards, and 6 assists on 62.6% true shooting with over a steal and a block per game. that's the most efficient Giannis ever. He has eliminated threes from his game. He has now added the mid-range where he's a 45% shooter. And the more important thing to me is that if Giannis were to do this, he would win with a significantly worse roster. This season alone, the Bucks were 34-27 with Giannis, and they were 6-7 without him. The Clippers actually had a winning record without Kawhi this season. And so when I look at these rosters, and this is even including Damian Lillard, I don't even want to do an injury asterisk here. With a healthy Dame, I think he'd be dragging a less competitive roster to a more impressive feat, even if Dame was healthy. And that being said, he's been dragging them to the playoffs for 6 seasons now. Kawhi has had that love.
I got to mute you, Logan. Your time is up. It's back on you, Penn. Talk to us.
Yeah, we're talking legacy, not greatest peaks, but Kawhi has 2,958 playoff points. Okay. This places him 32nd all time among playoff scorers in NBA history. He's done this in just 139 games. It's always about the narrative. Will he ever be healthy? During the 2019 run with Toronto, Leonard scored 732 points during that run. He became only the 6th player in NBA history to pass the 700-point mark. Here are the names ahead of him: Michael, Hakeem, Shaq, Iverson, LeBron. That's it. He was the 6th. Fun fact, that generational run with Toronto knocked him up to a 10.1 box plus minus during that run. That's the 5th highest mark of his own career in the playoffs. In fact, that 15-16 run of about 12 games with San Antonio had a 14.2 box plus minus. That is higher than all but one MJ season and just one LeBron season. Kobe never did it. Wade never did it. Durant and Curry never did it. They never cracked the 700 mark. Magic, Jokic, Bird, Giannis, they never did it. Kawhi did it. Okay? So forget the 732 points. What if he scores 600 points this year and wins Finals MVP en route to that? He would pass Drexler, Miller, CP3, Worthy, Clay, Manu. He would sit 23rd all time behind Wilt and Elgin Baylor. I Googled poverty franchise and they showed me the Clippers. If he does this on the Clippers being an 8th seed, I don't think we're going to want to hear what the panel has to say about that on the next day.
It's back on you, Logan.
I'm glad you bring it back to this season because I think that's where the crux of our argument lies. And we look at the last 6 seasons, it's actually a nice comparison because that's when Kawhi joined the Clippers, and we can look at Giannis's last 6 seasons with the Bucks. Without Giannis, the Bucks have a worse win percentage than the Clippers without Kawhi. And with Giannis, the Bucks have a higher win percentage than the Clippers do with Kawhi. So Giannis has taken a worse supporting cast and made them better than when Kawhi is on the floor. And so I think that's the most important part of this argument, is that he would be taking a worse roster to higher heights, because I think it's pretty apples to apples with both of these guys. And I understand you're talking about 2014, great playoff run from Kawhi, 2016, an all-time regular season, and a playoffs that were stolen from us that I'm still disappointed about. But what's the defining moment for both of these guys? It's the fact that they both have one big-time run. Kawhi has one of the greatest playoff runs of all time. I don't want to take anything away from him. It really is. But I think Giannis is in that same breath. He capped it off with a 50-piece against the Suns. We're down 0-2 in the finals, came back and won 4-2. And so what are we left with? Guys that have basically one crowning moment, one crowning playoff run each. The difference is that if Giannis did it this year, they would cap off a historic run of 6 years of dominance, of being a top 3 player on the planet, something that, due to injuries or what have you, I just don't think Kawhi matches. So I think Giannis's peak is higher, and I think he would be doing it in a more difficult situation.
3 minutes. We jumping straight into it. Let's do it.
Okay, again, we keep circling around peak versus legacy, and I don't think they're necessarily the same thing. Bill Walton had one of the greatest peaks of all time, but he's not necessarily in most people's conversation for top 25. Giannis is in a lot of people's conversation for top 25 all time, and if he continues to do what he's doing, even if he doesn't win a ring, he probably will retire as a top 20 player who won one ring. But Kawhi has a chance to do something very, very unique. Do you know only 3 players have ever won Finals MVP with 2 franchises? LeBron, Kawhi, Kareem. Only one player has ever done it with 3 different franchises. That's LeBron. Kawhi doing this would put him in that conversation with LeBron. Not only would he have dethroned the Heatles, again, it's all about legacy and the stories we tell our kids. He dethroned the Heatles. He guarded LeBron. Then in his next Finals MVP, he stopped Steph Curry from getting a 3-peat. And now in his next Finals MVP, he's going to go through one of the most stacked Western Conferences ever. He's going to probably have to fight against the Boston Celtics or the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals, and he's going to get them over the hump. He's going to be rewarded finals MVP. And here's a big bonus. He's going to actually catapult an 8th seed to an NBA championship for the first time. And here's a double bonus.
All right, I got to hold on. I got to step in, Pin. Hold your double bonus. Logan, talk to us.
My only thing with that is, if we're doing that thought exercise again, man, Kawhi has just been afforded a luxury over these last 6 seasons that Giannis has not had. Giannis' supporting cast have not been anywhere close to what the Clippers have had around Kawhi, with Harden and with Paul George and now with Big Zoo and Norman Powell. Kawhi can afford to miss 45 to 50 games and just show up when he wants to because the team is that good around him, and it affords him to be able to miss games. If Giannis was out like that, this would not be a playoff team. I mean, this would be, I'm not going to say one of the worst teams in the league because it's like the Wizards exist, but Milwaukee would be a bottom feeder. And so that's my thing. Giannis has got this insane burden on his shoulders to drag this team to the playoffs. And then if he did win a title, would drag them across the finish line. It's this Herculean carry job that, frankly, I haven't seen from Kawhi since 2019.
Right.
Giannis has been doing this for 6 years.
But Logan, the question here isn't, what you've seen. You're saying
Giannis
what we're going to
elevated
see
into the greatest players of all time conversation of like Hakeem with his 2 rings.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, he is closer to Hakeem with his 2 rings than Kawhi would be with his 3.
But again, the argument against Kawhi is always going to be longevity and whatever. But you cannot argue the accolades, and you're not going to be able to argue against 3 Finals MVPs. And also, by the way, Logan, the Clippers haven't won a championship in their existence. The Raptors hadn't won run a championship in their existence. He'd be delivering not just the last championship in Tim Duncan's life. He'd also be delivering the first championship in Clippers history, the first championship in Raptors history, and the first championship in James Harden's career. Elevating him.
Shut up, Mars.
I gotta step in and I gotta end this. I would love for this to continue, but I'm assuming another day on the panel will get it going. But in the meantime, fellas, I appreciate you guys for coming here and doing what you do best. Show your basketball minds and just how intelligent both of you guys are. You got anything to say to the people on the way out?
It was a pleasure as always, Penn. Thank you for the showdown. Thank you for being respectful. And thank you guys for having me. I hope to be back soon.
Absolutely. Penn, what you got for us?
A great debate. I knew whether it was going to be you or it was going to be casual, that it was going to be a really, really tough match. So kudos to you if you get through. Good luck. Peace.
All right, fellas. You guys already know the drill, chat. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you become a member. Make sure you slap that notification bell. And ultimately, make sure you pull up to the after party on Playback right after this. That comes on at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. I hope to see you guys there. We will be watching the Houston Rockets and the Los Angeles Lakers. The best third option in the NBA, Austin Reeves. Let's get to it, y'all. We'll catch y'all over there soon. In the meantime,